stop. Stop postponing your homework, your side hustle, your dreams, your life. We are all procrastinators at least once in our lives. And stopping procrastination is the only way to manage our time and our lives. So just stop saying, I can do this tomorrow. With the tips that I'm going to give you in this video, hopefully we're going to minimize those procrastination moments and get what we want from life. Nobody's perfect. I'm not going to say that we're going to completely eliminate them, but let's start somewhere because it's all about the progress. I watched this TED Talk a while ago and I'm going to link that down below in the description so that you can watch as well. And there the speaker was talking about procrastination, how there is an instant gratification monkey in our heads trying to take control when we think that we should do something for our lives and for our future. And it was such a strong video and it made me actually want to film this video for you. I did the same one in my Turkish channel before and people loved it, so here I am on Successful Living talking about the same thing. But please go ahead and watch that TED Talk after this video. And at the end of that video, he just put on the screen the weeks of a 90-year-old's life in terms of like little boxes. And let me tell you that there weren't so many boxes there. So we don't really have so much time here on this planet and in life. And I think with procrastination, we're just wasting that time. So let's start with tip number 1. This tip is actually from the book, The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins. She actually talked about snoozing, snoozing the alarm in the mornings. And she came up with this idea basically just for the alarm first, but then she implemented this in her life and wrote a book about it, and I think it's just brilliant. So what you do is when you need to do something, when you want to do something, and in your head you're starting to procrastinate, instead of that, you just count down from 5, and when you reach 0, you just get up and take action. Of course, it doesn't apply to the biggest decisions in life and some serious things, but when it comes to like calling that friend or writing that email or doing that homework, it actually works pretty good. So you just say, okay, I need to do this. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And you get up and you take action. And I think if you play this game with yourself, you will be less likely to procrastinate on those really little things, the things that will take 3 to 5 minutes. I think that is already a big progress. Tip number 2, assigning a time for your tasks. I imagine that all of us have a very long to-do list. If you have ambitions in life, you probably have a to-do list. But the problem there is we write to-do lists with no time assigned to those tasks. So when you see that to-do list, a huge list of things, you don't know when and how to do those things within your 24 hours of a daily life. So the problem there is you just see that, you feel overwhelmed, and you just procrastinate. And what I recommend here is to assign a certain time in your calendar to do those tasks. What I do is I use a planner, and actually here it is, and I also use my Google Calendar to use a little bit of time blocking. And by this, I already know that at that time that I assign this task to, I'm gonna be completing that task. It helps with 2 things. 1, I don't have to think about that before the actual time I have to complete that task, so it's not creating the stress environment in my head and I'm not feeling overwhelmed. But the second thing is when the time comes, I say, okay, I need to do this now. I don't have to think, I don't have to decide if I have to do it or not, because I already made that decision a while ago. I already said, and I'm going to be doing that task then, so I don't need to think about it. I don't need to procrastinate, so I don't allow my brain to think about if I need to do it or not. I just follow what my calendar dictates. Number 3, the reason to procrastinate is actually to underestimate a certain task. We all do it. Sometimes we write this huge project as a one-off task. It looks like something really simple, like preparing that presentation. It looks like this one thing in our calendar, but actually it is a multi-step process. So it has creating the template, deciding on the bullet points, taking the visuals that will be in the presentation itself, actually sitting down and preparing it, writing down the notes when you're going to be presenting to look at. So it is actually a multi-step process that we underestimate and write as a task. And when we see that in our calendar, in our diaries, we feel like, oh my god, this is gonna take so much time, this is gonna be like a huge thing, and I'm not ready to do that, so let me just watch Netflix for 10 more minutes. So what I suggest instead of that is to break down those projects into little actionable steps, as small steps as possible. It could actually be like create the file, or it could actually be like research for the visuals for the presentation. The smaller the tasks are, the less likely you're going to procrastinate on them. So when you see something, it's going to take 3, 5, 10, 15 minutes, your brain will not feel like overwhelmed. So you will be like, okay, I'm just going to complete this, and I will give myself the satisfaction, the sense of success by completing this. Hence, I'll get more things done. Tip number 4. If you see yourself postponing a certain task for a very long time, you move it from Monday to Tuesday, from Tuesday to Wednesday, from Wednesday to Thursday, you have to stop and think, do you really have to do that? Maybe it is being postponed constantly for a reason. Maybe it is not necessary, or maybe it is not something that suits your talents and your strengths, and maybe somebody else can do it. Of course, I'm talking about mostly work situations that you can delegate your tasks, but if this is a personal item that you either do or don't and nobody else can do for you, you can stop and think, do you have to do that? Maybe it's there because you thought it would be a good idea, but after a certain time passed, you decided that it's not really that necessary. So you can actually take it off from that calendar, so you'll feel a lot better about your daily to-dos, basically. Those things that stay on your to-do list for literally no reason are mostly the tasks that are not important and not urgent, so maybe they're not necessarily have to be completed. Before I continue with the rest of my tips, I just want to say again, welcome to Successful Living. On this channel, I talk about planning, motivation, organization, basically how to live a successful life. If you think that this is a good type of video content to watch on YouTube and learn and improve yourself, I strongly recommend you to join the family by clicking the subscribe just over there, and don't forget to turn those bell notifications on as well. Let's go to number 5. This is tip number 5 to actually beat procrastination, and that is something called accountability partners. And I actually started this in our Facebook group. I just assigned some accountability partners to everybody, so somebody asks you if you completed a certain thing or not on a regular basis. If you struggle with self-discipline, this might be the idea for you. You can ask a family member or a friend or someone in your life to ask you on a regular basis if you did something for that dream or for that task or for that project. You can actually include some money into this, so if you say to that accountability partner of yours that you didn't do anything for your dream or for that task this week, you can tell that person that you're gonna give, I don't know, $10, 10 pounds, 10 liras, whatever, wherever you are. And when you include that money aspect into this, I think it will work a little bit better, again, if you're struggling with accountability and self-discipline. And if you don't have anybody to assign as your accountability partner, come join us at Transformation in our Facebook group. The link is down in the description box, and I will give you one. Number 6. Motivation. Maybe you procrastinate because you lack motivation. It is one of the most common reasons of procrastination, and I'm not going to go into details about motivation, but I do have a video just about my top tips about motivation, and I'm going to leave that link down in the description box as well, so you can watch that after this video. Tip number 7, over-planning. I talked about assigning time to tasks, and if you do that already, you probably don't do over-planning, but many of us do because we just write a to-do list for the day. And what I mean by over-planning is actually planning for 20-hour worth of work in a 10-hour workday. So you write things down in your daily calendar without thinking how long they will take, and in the end you end up with half done, half remaining to-do list, and that is actually making you feel more stressed and unaccomplished and unsuccessful. And that feeling in your head, that stress, is actually a big reason, a huge reason for procrastination. So when you plan for your day, and I strongly recommend that you do, you should write down next to every task approximately how much they will take. And also I strongly recommend you to add some blank space, a white space in your day, just in case something urgent comes up, or just in case you don't finish that task in the time frame that you assigned to yourself. So in summary, make good plans, make realistic plans. and maybe use daily time blocking. Tip number 8 is, of course, to remove those distractions. There are so many apps right now. There is even a feature on the new iPhone software that you can prevent yourself from going into certain apps at a certain time. You can do that on your desktop. You can remove everything that is distracting you and making you procrastinate more. So what I recommend is assign 2-3 hour blocks of time where you don't go onto certain websites, certain apps, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, basically, wherever you procrastinate the most. Just remove those and make yourself free from those apps and those distractions for at least 2 to 3 hours a day. This has a lot to do with that instant gratification concept that I talked before. You want to have this momentary fun and happiness, and you go on and watch a video or look at some nice pictures, or somebody may be calling you for something like meeting for drinks outside or something like that. You can also tell your friends, do not call me between this and this time because I'll be working, and you can just remove those distractions as well, or put your phone in another room as well. Just don't fall into that instant gratification trap, and basically reward yourself after that 2-3 hour time block where you didn't have any of these. Reward yourself with those things afterwards. And finally, number 9, everybody is different. You have to analyze how exactly do you procrastinate. So if you're procrastinating when you're doing a certain task every single time, maybe you're not the best person to do that. If you procrastinate by going on Facebook, maybe Facebook is the only app that you need to remove or block for a certain period of time. You analyze your patterns about procrastination, what you do, how you fall into this trap, and maybe when you understand yourself better, how you work and how you cannot work better, then you can actually work on your personal reasons to procrastinate. And also, I would really appreciate if you could comment down below your reason of procrastination or your procrastinating activity down in the comments below, so that everybody can see. And if there's someone sharing the same reason with you or the same type of activity with you, maybe you can help each other, because these things actually solve themselves just by sharing them with other people. This was it for today's video. I'm so happy you tuned in, and I hope this helped. I will be seeing you in my next video, hopefully. Here is my last video. Here's a video that I think you should definitely watch. And if you're still not subscribed, you can join the family by clicking here. Thank you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.